Yankee broadcaster Michael Kay joining us. How'd you prepare for the moment when you knew it was going to happen, Michael?
Well, the part with Jeter and Pettit, nobody knew. I mean, that was completely out of the blue. And although if Mariano had pitched his last game yesterday, it would have been emotional. That really put it over the top. And when we saw those two guys walk out of the dugout, we kind of just said, well, let's step back and let this happen. And it was amazing. I mean, it was one of the great emotional, real, raw sporting events that you could see. And when he was sobbing into Andy Pettit's shoulder, and there weren't many dry eyes in that stadium, and I'm sure watching around the world on TV. That was amazing, Dan.
You're trying to be professional, but then you're also human in the moment. How do you sort of battle those emotions, a job and your real emotions that come through?
Well, we're supposed to be objective and, rah-rah, Columbia journalism, whatever. And I got to be honest with you. If you met Mariano, I heard what you just said. This is one of the great men in sports. And unfortunately, it's more of an exception rather than a rule. And I really like him a lot. And when I saw him out on that mound crying that way, I was doing the game with Kenny Singleton. Both of us, we got choked up. We didn't cry on the air. But it was emotional. It was pretty difficult. Everybody keeps complimenting both of us for laying out. It would have been hard to talk too, because it was very, very difficult. And making it worse was I was with him at an event earlier in the day, and we did a Q&A on stage, and I had asked him if he was going to get emotional, and he said, "Absolutely not. I'm very, very secure in my decision, and I know that this is the right thing. There will be no tears. Maybe sometime after the season when I think about it." And I think when he saw those two guys walk out, it just hit him. And then I saw him after the game in the bowels of the stadium. I said, "Yeah, you're not going to cry." And he goes, "I don't know what happened." I said, "I do. Everybody does. You're a human being."
You were also helped by it being on TV. If it's on radio, you sort of have to add a little bit to it. But I think it's one of those where let me compliment the pictures. I don't have to describe the pictures.
Pretty much. I mean, the pictures were so striking, set up against that backdrop. And, I don't know if that stadium, since it opened in 2009, was ever better than it was last night. And that includes the World Series in 2009. Everything just worked perfect. I think the voices probably would have gummed it up. So we just let it breathe, and boy, did it breathe. It was amazing.
He's Michael Kay, the Yankee broadcaster, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I also thought about Mo when he left the field. I immediately started thinking about what is the future of this team. And I haven't done that too often with the Yankees where you say the future's sort of in doubt. Questions. Cano with his deal, with ages there. What are you going to do with the number of free agents? Even your manager, you're not sure. If you were going to try to sum this up for Yankee fans of what you think we'll see next year, can you?
I don't think you can. I don't know which way they're going to roll with this. I mean, I think Cashman has to be really creative, and everybody keeps talking about, well, if they get under 189, it's going to be hard to rebuild. Well, let's just say, Dan, that they would come out next year and say, you know what, our payroll is going to be $300 million. Well, baseball doesn't work that way anymore because most teams keep their great players. There's a lot of money in the game. So I don't know if you could just rebuild the team by just spending as much money. So I don't think 189 is going to be an impediment. I think a lot of it rests now on Brian Cashman to get creative, to go out and get players that fit the mold, and we'll see from there. I mean, the guy that I wonder about, Derek Jeter, and then there was one, what does he think? I mean, what's in the future for him? Okay, say he comes back from these leg injuries, and what's going on next year? How is he going to fit in? So, and then you mentioned the manager. I don't even know if the manager knows. So there's a lot of uncertainty for the first time in a long time.
Whose career would you rather have, Mariano Rivera or Derek Jeter?
Wow. But Derek's dated a lot of really hot girls.
Well, you don't get that portion of the career, Michael.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, so it's just the on-field
On
stuff.
the field.
See, I misunderstood you. I'm sorry.
Because Jeter's a better closer than Rivera off the field.
Boy, that's a great question. I guess if I'm doing something, I want to be the best ever, and I think Derek is one of the best shortstops ever, but I don't think there's any doubt that Mo is the best closer ever, so I probably would take Mo. What would you take?
I would take Jeter because he's playing every single day. I think Mo is the greatest closer of all time, but I still think Jeter Jeter will be recognized as a greater Yankee when it's all said and done. Because,
Oh, really?
in my opinion, I would put him up there. Mount Rushmore only has 4, but if I have my Mount Rushmore, the Yankees, Jeter's going to get there as my 5th.
Well, you know what? The more I think about it, I don't handle a failure very well because I'm a loser in that sense. And Mo has had some jarring failures. Jeter really hasn't had much failure on the field, so I might change my mind. But again, I'm going to vacillate back and forth all day.
Hey, great to have you back on. You guys did a great job. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, Michael Kay, Yankee broadcaster.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.